unexplainable delays that occur with the IDC, and you listed some examples: frequent system crashes and inadvertent transaction deletions. How problematic is that?
It happens. It's part of the problem with the IDC. Inadvertent crashes is we've had too many users on our IDC system. If there gets too many users, it goes down. It could be anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours. And anything, say you're in a batch, you're running a batch of checks through a batch of invoices, water bills that have been paid, all right? And you're in a batch and the system crashes, you have no idea where it crashed at. So you have to go back and see how many accounts got actually posted before the crash, and then re-put those back in, the ones that didn't take it. That happens if there's a lot of users through the controllers, our department and the water department. It's just not our department. So it does happen. It's not uncommon to have it happen once a week. As I said in the city council budget hearing, our office workers, our administrators are actually faster than the computers. When they pass it through, it should beep and they should just keep going. At times the system is so slow that they put one through and it takes 5 to 10 seconds for it to go through and then allows you to do another one. That doesn't sound like a lot, 5 to 10 seconds, but that's 5 to 10 seconds every transaction. And there could be 40,000 transactions in one day, so that's a lot of seconds. That adds up to a lot of hours that get lost because the system can't keep up with what we have.
Now, the transaction deletions, are we talking lost payments or?
Well, that's where we have to go back. If you're in the middle of a batch and the system goes down, you have to go back and make sure, did all these payments get posted? Because that's what you're looking at is, did the payment, say it went down and I was putting through your water payment. When the system came back up, I'd have to go back to your water payment, check your account to make sure it was updated so we didn't lose it. That's what we're saying, where we would lose information. The employee has to go back and manually check and make sure that the system where it crashed didn't take her whole batch out or just part of the batch.
But that wouldn't necessarily show up as a payment past due.
Oh, no, it's all internal. We have to balance to that. It wouldn't balance, and then we would have to go back through and find out which didn't get posted. Okay. But it would never, no, it has to balance every day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Green?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Polakowski, are you reducing the overall cost of the project?
Am I using the overall cost of the project?
Is the cost of the project going down?
Repeat, I can't.
Is the projected spending on this project going down?
I expect it will, yes.
And Ms. Molsherry, the Treasurer's Office for the collection of water bills is going to be improved?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council members?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Vogt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Polakowski, is this something that should have been bid out or should have been part of the original bid?
The problem with bidding out is when you're buying software, you have to write specifications, and if you don't, you bid it out for just a commercial package. Then you got the problems of seeing who bids and trying to match different software manufacturers, different parts of your system. It becomes very difficult. So to do that would take a lot of work to put specifications together. We went out for a commercial package, commercial software, when we did the program originally.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, but our ordinance says purchases must be bid.
Yeah, well, we could have this bid out. When you approve this, we could bid this out and get the commercial price on the BSNA utility software.
Oh, okay, why didn't you have it bid out?
We put this here to see if we get your approval to do this.
So you wanted to see if we'd violate
because we are making an amendment change to the contract, and we wanted to see if you would get approval to do that.
All right, I think this is the kind of problem that you should have been able to identify when you first started the project. I mean, you had to know that this has been a problem ongoing for a long time.
When we first started, we were unaware of that because a lot of this information was provided through the RFP committee, through the controller's office. They identified the software that they wanted us to include in the program. It wasn't until we actually bought the software and started the implementation that we started to find some of the shortcomings.
So you're saying you bought software and found out that it doesn't function?
No, the software functions, what we bought functions very well. The
Okay,
IDC
had
portion
trouble
we
hearing
have
him.
does not interface with it very well. And that's a problem we have with the existing system, with the IDC cash receipting and the IDC utility billing. It does not communicate to it directly. We have that problem with the IDC cash receipting, with the utility billing, with the tax software, and also with the building department, because those all have to be manually bridged into those other software platforms.
And you didn't know that before you started this?
I was not aware of this when we were working on the program until we actually started some of the implementation.
When did we get the IDC software?
I can't answer that for you. That was here long before I came. I think that existed back when they did 2000 with the Millennium. I'm not sure. I can't answer that for you. I have no access to know when they actually started the IDC software here in the city. I know that when they came from the Millennium changeover, they had some problems, and that's when they went from the Wang software, which is the current utility billing, and had IDC updated, and there's all kind of problems with the operation of the IDC utility billing system. That much I was aware of,
All right,
but I
Mr.
wasn't aware of the interface problems with the cash receipting until we actually started the implementation of BSNA here.
Okay. Ms. Messeri, you have BSNA in your office, is that?
Basically, the IDC system, different administrations, different personalities, different needs and wants. Mr. Fox, when IDC came along, thought it was the greatest for the preparation in the controller's department. He really liked the software for the controller's department. So with that administration, they kind of said, okay, we'll just do IDC for everything. It turned out not to be, they didn't do it for everything. They did it for the water, they did it for controllers. But BSNA, of course, had an elected official different than the administration, and they said, we like the BSNA, we're going with that. That's really basically, if you cut it down, cut and dry, that's why we have two different systems, is because they didn't work together. Departments, the controller's department and the treasurer's department, I'm not saying who or what, I'm just saying basically they didn't get together. One went one way, one went the other.
All
The
right, yeah.
BSNA system is the system that more cities use, is the system that is adaptable to our meter reading. The IDC isn't. The BSNA is what I want to continue with. I don't want to continue, if I have a choice, BSNA is the way to go. As I said, we want to go and get more services to our resident. BSNA software allows that. IDC really doesn't. I wasn't in on the RFP committee for these meters. My apologies, because when we started to merge us together, this new system and the treasure system, that's when we found there was a problem. Could have been foretold. I don't know. I don't know if I was sitting in the meetings with the smart meters, if I would have caught that during that meeting to put it in. I really couldn't tell you. But this is what we're facing now, and that's why we're asking for the BSNA software. Sort of, it might be a sole source provider, but right now that's what we want, is to be on one system. We don't want to be on multiple systems. The multiple systems is what's hurting us.
All right, is it a sole source provider?
Now, I do not know if BSNA, I believe it would be a sole source, but I'm not in purchasing. I couldn't guarantee that, ma'am.
Because that would make a difference in my vote.
The state provides software, and they compete with other companies on software.
I'm sorry, Mr.
It
Polakowski.
says they offer a standard package of software for the industry, made up of different modules, and they compete against other companies.
They
So
do
once
compete with
Once
other
you
co-
decide to go with a software company, you want to make sure you maintain continuity within the system, because their language and their processes interface appropriately.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very good.
Through the chair to Ms. Moseri, the BSNA software, there's no problems with the sending out the tax bills or anything like that? Everything is going to integrate seamlessly, so to speak?
Our tax bills are on BSNA already.
I'm sorry?
Our tax bills are already on BSNA.
Okay?
It's IDC portion in our, with the water is what we have right now. But no, our taxes there won't be any problem. They'll go right on time.
So this will just actually, this is an upgraded program for,
For my department, sir, it would be.
okay, and then the printers too, that would be a plus?
Printers. Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Polakowski, the Water Department,
Yes.
how's that funded? Is that an enterprise fund?
Pardon me?
Is that an enterprise fund?
Enterprise fund?
Yeah, the Water Department, is it an enterprise fund?
That's enterprise, yes it
Okay.
is.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it is.
Any further comments from council members? Mr. Bacamino.
Just real quick, Madam Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Stevens, I'm trying to remember, during the list of bills, you asked a question, was it about the transfer of $2 million for, was it water delinquent? Or,
Yes.
so we're collecting, is it, I guess, to Ms. Mosseri, about $2 million then for delinquent bills? Rather, no matter how many people are paying delinquently, your department, I guess, earlier brought in $2 million? Is that what I'm hearing?
In delinquent?
I'm just, Mr. Stevens, is that correct? Am I,
That was a delinquent account from 2009, yes.
2009, okay.
Yes.
And
And-
that would, the delinquent water account?
Yes. Do we have that many delinquent bills, over $2 million then per year? And this,
Mr.
the cost of
Bacamino,
this,
we have
2009, we had close to 2.9 million.
well, that's what I'm trying to get a handle of here. I agree with Mr. Green's statement, because if every year we have over $2 million of delinquent bills being collected, and this system's going to help us, and the cost of the system is only $45,000, $2 million, $45,000, and it's going to bring us all together. Previous petitioner here for tax abatement mentioned in a meeting of the whole that every 3 years they rotate their entire software system for tool and die. And you're telling me we haven't had an update in sounds like at least 2 administrations. So again, just trying to keep it simple. Thank you.
Madam Chair, just one last thing, if I could.
Mr. Stevens?
I just wanted to say this. I was on that RFP committee, and the question was asked, and I looked it up in my notes, and what I wrote down was seamless integration throughout the city, okay? I have looked at it. Yes, it is going to save countless man-hours in the long run, but it was looked at, and why it wasn't addressed properly, I can't say. I'm sorry.
Anybody else? I'm sorry, Mr. List.
Quickly. Mr. Palakowski, in the last water bill that my neighbors and I received, there was a notice concerning the water meter replacement.
Yes, sir.
Was that your department helped put that together?
We put that together with the...
I had a suggestion for you.
Yes, sir.
You're freaking a lot of people out. We have the fourth oldest citizenry in the country, and you're going to be asking people to let strangers into their home. Instead of a 1/3 piece of paper that's blue printed in black, which is hard to see for a normal sighted person, can we expand the notification with more explanation for the residents on a full sheet of paper exactly what's